fucking hey. It's Props, back with another music review for I'm not going to do that again, let's just keep that in. Today we are taking a look at the latest Machine Gun Kelly record, Hotel Diablo. This is the fourth full-length studio album from rapper turned punk rock artist Machine Gun Kelly, or MGK. This was his first full record after his infamous disagreement with Eminem. A diss track battle that I and many others feel like MGK lost. I didn't particularly care for MGK's diss track reaction to the Kamikaze album, but Eminem's response was amazing. Very good diss track. However, he did drop an EP when all that stuff was happening, called Binge, pretty much to cash in on all of the attention he was receiving. And even though it was negative attention, it was still a great business move. Well, it would have been if the EP did numbers. Now, regarding the Binge EP, that was probably the most insulting, awful experience I've ever had while listening to an EP. This guy was sitting in interviews, having a go at Eminem for the fact that he called him a mumble rapper, and then proceeds to drop the most mumbly, ridiculous EP I've ever heard. I mean, what a way to come off of the Kamikaze diss track by releasing the most offensive project I think I've ever heard. And I don't mean offensive in like the edgy way. I mean, I was offended for anyone who bought this fucking waste of time. So, you know, I wasn't particularly excited about hearing this album. I wasn't anticipating it, for reasons that I feel are pretty understandable, considering. Until I happened to listen to the single I Think I'm Okay with Youngblood and Travis Barker out of morbid curiosity. And yeah, that song was honestly one of my favourite songs of 2019. I found Travis Barker's guitar on that song to be amazing, almost addictive. I feel like this type of music, this like throwback to the 2000s, suited MGK significantly on this track. Not to mention that Youngblood is honestly a very exciting prospect who has a fucking lot of potential. It'll be interesting to see how MGK explores this new style on his next record, which is apparently going to be completely punk rock. But anyway, once I heard this song, I was ready to give this album a full listen. It really caught my attention, to be fair. And then once it dropped, I mean, I wasn't disappointed, but I wasn't blown away. One track that I did really enjoy though was Hollywood Whore, a song that actually samples Linkin Park's Numb in a very interesting way. MGK actually pays homage to Linkin Park a few times in this album, even mentioning Chet Bennington in one of the lyrics on Glass House. So yeah, that obviously had a big effect on my opinion of this album, for reasons that don't need explaining. While we're talking about this song as well, I think Glass House is one of the best moments we have on this album. I think this is easily the most powerful song I've heard MGK make, even going as far as to mention a moment where he apparently tried to take his own life right after putting his daughter to bed. It's an insanely emotional moment, and I mean, you've gotta credit the rawness of it. The track 53666, featuring Femme, I mean, even though the title of this song is so stupid, I did find the feature and the otherworldly atmosphere this song gives off to be very interesting. The heavily reverbed and distant vocals on the chorus was pretty alluring, but MGK's delivery of like 53666, that felt really uninspired, to be honest, and I felt it brought the song down a little bit. The song Floor 13 was a pretty cool moment as well, with its heavy guitars and very creepy vibe, but the lyricism on this song is so stupid in places, especially when he referenced the Eminem diss track as being a shot that missed him. I mean, dude, have some self-awareness. That song hit you pretty hard. It might not have killed you, but it hit you pretty hard. That song as well has a very intentionally auto-tuned verse, which sounds so out of place and awful. Not to mention some of the ridiculous ad-libs we have here. What the fuck is that? I kind of found like the loose concept of a Hotel Diablo, to be kind of interesting, even if I don't particularly understand what the intention is here. I mean, like, why is this album set in a hotel? How does this benefit what we hear? It's a really cool idea and everything, but I just wish it was explored a little bit more. Like, is he trying to escape the hotel? It's not clear. But I am happy to hear MGK ditch his lazy flows that he had on Binge, and instead hit us with very strong and skillful verses. This guy has some really good talent, but on Binge it was almost like he didn't. This album has proved, however, that he does. But alongside these great moments is a lot of mediocrity and even shit in places. The song Candy with Trippie Redd was so disappointing. Even though I think he's lyrically awful, Trippie Redd can be kind of good when he features on songs. This song, however, was just doomed from the moment that chorus became an idea. You know I keep that candy, yeah. It's a shame because I think this song could be pretty good if it was looked at from a different direction. I get the feeling as well that the intro track, Sex Drive, was meant to be this grand introduction to the album, but it just felt like MGK wasted 2 minutes of my time. It contains these awful awful auto-tune vocals and this pretty mediocre synth beat. I mean, why is it here? Like, no. The next track, El Diablo, is a failed attempt to be this epic rap track, in my opinion, where he has a go at all of his haters by repeating the same hook over and over and over again, and saying Diablo every now and then. The songs Waste Love, Death in My Pocket, and Burning Memories were pretty forgettable, even though I do appreciate MGK's more open approach to the latter track. The feature on that song, though, Little Skies, it was so bad. It was so awful. Fingaz as well, with his robotic vocals at one point, it is just terrible. Almost laughable. Femme is also on this track, apparently. You can barely tell, because it's like she's not even there. Roulette helps to point out the main issue I think I have with this album, and that's the quite weak choruses and hooks. Like, it feels like MGK is trying to avoid doing these awfully auto-tuned vocals that he's done in the past, so he just threw together some lines and then slap them on the songs. Like, they could have much better choruses. So overall, there are some very great moments here, and songs that I love and listen to quite a lot, but listening to this album from start to finish, it doesn't scream anything special, especially with these pointless interludes. The message from the Count one was so wince-worthy, it was ridiculous. I'd give this album an average rating, because it does feel like a concoction of great tracks, bad tracks, and mediocre tracks, averaging it out as being pretty average. I am, however, happy that this album exists, because it's got me interested in MGK, it's got me interested in what he's going to make next. I will be listening to anything he releases from this point on, so in that way, this album is a success. Let's just hope that his full dive into punk rock on his next record isn't a complete failure. Anyway, that's it. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Remember, this is just my opinion, I can't change yours, and I wouldn't want to, and peace out.